Hello everybody, today we are going to make flag of Sweden. We are going to work balloons basically in the same way as in previously published instruction. Inflate blue balloon leaving about 8-inch flat tail. In this example we are going to twist all bubbles of the same up to 1-inch size. We have to make 2 square pieces of fabric and 2 rectangular shaped pieces of fabric. Let's make the first square piece of fabric. You have to twist the chain of the first 4 bubbles and lock both ends of the chain of the first 4 bubbles in one lock twist. We have made the small square with sides 2 by 2 bubbles. It is the center of our larger size square. Let's twist the chain of the next 3 bubbles. And then we twist both ends of the chain of the last 4 bubbles in one lock twist. You have to force the end of the balloon through the loop of 4 first bubbles. We have made the first corner of the large square. Twist the chain of the next 3 bubbles. And then we lock both ends of the chain of the last 8 bubbles in one lock twist. You have to work gently and be careful when you forcing the end of the balloon through the loop of small bubbles. The bubbles may untwist accidentally or even pop. You have to hold connection between bubbles and roll bubbles around the rest of the balloon to prevent untwisting. Twist the chain of the next 3 bubbles. Lock both ends of the chain of the last 12 bubbles in one lock twist. So far we have made 3 corners of our large square. Twist the chain of the next 3 bubbles. And then we lock both ends of the chain of the first 16 bubbles in one lock twist. Congratulations, we have made a square piece of fabric with sides 4 by 4 bubbles. Cut off the rest of the balloon, tie off the end, hide it between bubbles of the sculpture. Remember, we have to make 2 square pieces of the same size. Use another balloon to make exactly the same size square piece of fabric. Now I'm going to make a rectangular piece of fabric. Inflate a balloon leaving about 8-inch flat tail. It takes 24 bubbles to make rectangular piece with sides 4 by 6 bubbles. Let's twist the chain of the first 6 bubbles. In previously published instruction, we have made a rectangular piece of the same shape, working in a bit different way. Now let's lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 bubbles in one lock twist. Twist the chain of the next 2 bubbles. Lock both ends of the chain of the first 8 bubbles in one lock twist. We have made small rectangle with sides 2 by 4 bubbles. It is a center part of our larger size rectangle. Twist the chain of the next 3 bubbles. Lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 bubbles in one lock twist. We are making the corner of our rectangle. Right now you can see how I hold the connection between bubbles to prevent untwisting of those bubbles. Twist the chain of the next 2 bubbles. We work around the small rectangle. Lock the free end of the last bubble between the 3rd and the 4th bubbles. Or it could be the 5th and the 6th bubbles. It really doesn't make any difference, we will get the same sculpture anyway. And then we have to twist the chain of the next 3 bubbles. Lock the free end of the last bubble between the 4th and the 5th bubbles. We have made the second corner of our rectangle. Make the chain of the next 3 bubbles. Keep working the rest of the sculpture in exactly the same way. Twist the chain of the next 2 bubbles. Lock the free end of the last bubble between nearest 2 bubbles at the center of the rectangle. Twist the chain of the next 3 bubbles. And then we lock both ends of the chain of the first 24 bubbles in one lock twist. Cut off the rest of the balloon, tie off the end, hide the end between bubbles of the sculpture. Congratulations, you have made a rectangle with sides 4x6 bubbles. Use another balloon to make exactly the same size rectangular piece of fabric. We have to make 2 squares and 2 rectangles. And then we are going to use 2 yellow balloons to connect 2 squares and 2 rectangles in one piece of fabric. Inflate yellow balloons leaving about 8-inch flat tails. Tie nozzles of yellow balloons in one knot. First we're going to connect square pieces and then we will attach rectangular pieces. And we're going to work basically in the same way as we did in previously published instruction. This way we're going to put small pieces together. Let's twist the first yellow bubble. Lock the free end of the first yellow bubble between 2 bubbles at the corner of the square. You have to pull the end of the yellow balloon through the loop of the 4 small blue bubbles. And then we are working the second yellow balloon in exactly the same way to attach the second square. Twist the first yellow bubble of the second balloon and lock it between 2 bubbles at the corner of the second square. You have to put the square pieces next to each other, kind of in a mirror reflection, like this. Twist the second yellow bubbles of both balloons, and then you lock free ends of both yellow bubbles in one lock twist. Keep working yellow balloons in this way to the next corner of the square. Here we're making 4 bubbles of both balloons and lock the free ends of 4 bubbles in one lock twist. Now let's make the corner bubbles. Twist the 5th bubble, twist the 6th bubble, lock the free end of the 6th yellow bubble between the nearest 2 blue bubbles at the corner. Work the other yellow balloon in exactly the same way around the other square piece. Keep working yellow balloons to the next corner of square. Once we reach the corner of the square, we have to twist the 9th and the 10th yellow bubbles. Now it's time to attach the rectangle. Lock the free end of the 10th yellow bubble at the corner of the short side of our rectangle. You have to place the short side of a rectangle against the square. Twist the 11th yellow bubble. Lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 yellow bubbles in one lock twist. Keep working to the next corner on the short side of our rectangle. After you twist the 13th yellow bubble, you have to lock both ends of the chain of the last 8 yellow bubbles in one lock twist. And then we work the second yellow balloon in exactly the same way to attach the second rectangle. It takes time to make and connect so many small bubbles. Once we get to the corner, to the center of our sculpture, remember we have to make the corner bubble. We twist the 14th yellow bubbles on both balloons. And then we lock free ends of the 14th bubbles in one lock twist. And from here we work both yellow balloons at the same time, making bubbles, connecting them, following the long side of our 2 rectangles. We are making rectangular piece of fabric with sides 10 by 12 bubbles. It takes total of 120 bubbles to make this sculpture. We can use the same fabric to make different sculptures, different flags. On my website fitdoi.com you may find examples and links to instructions how to make different flags. Once you make the 20th yellow bubbles, cut off the rest of the balloon and tie off the ends. Congratulations, we have made flag of Sweden. Have fun and happy twisting!